Jared awoke to the doorway opened slightly. A light that crept into his pitch-black room of his, shining onto the bare floorboards, with the bud of a dust cloud swirling over it. It seemed to circulate oddly in figure eights. The figure eights defied physics and caught his sleepy attention. He had been woken early from what he could tell by his tiredness, but of course he could not tell time in this place, as there was no sun reference, and all the clocks ran backwards. But he decided that 8 p.m. was his wake-up and lived his life accordingly. He stepped out of bed, but jumped on one foot as he felt the pain of something inside. He pulled out something that felt smooth, but found out it was not a smooth needle, as his foot would told him. It was a twisted piece of metal, very thin, but twisted into various curves, unlike the straight piece he thought he had pulled out of his foot. He felt the warmth of his blood crowd on his foot from this weird needle, wondering how he pulled it out without tearing open his foot, leaving a tiny hole rather than one would expect some irregular shape. He crept up to the door to watch the dust swirl. It seemed to be sucked in a huff and puff and blown around, but Jared's mind associating it with an imagined air compressor sound that was so vivid he almost heard it for real. The door swung open and slid across his foot, causing a mild but painful scrape, but Jared didn't react for some reason unknown to him, exhibiting a pain tolerance he had not known previously to have possessed. He looked, and the light ended, and something pitch black was in a defined line, where nothing was revealed, while everything else was illuminated. Jared walked the halls, rubbing his fingers against the wall, walking past in almost slow motion, but fluid to our perceptions. As he walked, he could hear whispers in the background. "Hey, have you seen that new Doggy Bone video? Chain your bitch to the ruin of your pinto on MTV?" He says, "I saw that video, yo, especially where the LAPD pulled over Doggy Bone, supposedly, because happened to have some bitch chained to the roof of his pinto, and he blew those racist cocksuckers away. Have you noticed he's got a strain from his usual set? Yeah, he's really referring to women in a more respectful manner, which is clearly shown in that song." He saw something skip past right as he approached another intersection of the labyrinth. He looks to the right where it went, but nothing was there. He turns in response to a tap on the shoulder. It was a blonde girl with pigtails and denim overalls. She giggles and runs and jumps on the wall and hops back for shifting gravity on the walls, singing a tune that Jared remembered but couldn't quite place. She seems to disappear, so he begins navigating the corridor again. "Hello!" she said this time, but with dark hair. His pigtails responded to a different center of gravity. "Grab my hands!" she yells and takes Jared's hand, and immediately he falls into the ceiling. "Do you remember those bumps at night?" she said. Jared nodded. "That's me playing. Do you hear crying at night?" He once again nodded. "That's me when I feel trapped." Do you hear screams at night?" she asked. "Yes, and I presume that's your screams," he said. "No, but I had a hat on it," she said. She smiled and her face liquefied. The features started to flow like a river. She shook her face like a wet dog would do to his body, but it happened at extreme slow motion, inconsistent with the surrounding area. He could see every detail ripped from her face. The only soft part now left were her eyes, where they were still in their bony sockets, which now housed eyes with red irises and elliptical pupils. She got up to his face and said, "They're coming for you." "Who are?" he asked. "We are."